Without a shadow of a doubt, this is the biggest 7 to 10 days in Nottingham Forest season so far. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. In today's video, we will be looking at the excruciating next 7 to 10 days in Nottingham Forest calendar. This is going to be season defining, so strap your asses in because this is where it's make or break. Before we get into it, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new here. And if you want to win that signed framed Serge Aurier shirt with a chance of a bonus prize at the Worrell shirt and the McKenna shirt, the link is in the description below. Go grab your tickets from our good friends at Football Prizes. All right, guys, let's get into this one because I'm starting to get nervous. In my opinion, there's been so much kicking the can down the road, both from Forest in terms of management, in terms of players, but more importantly, in terms of the fan base. We've heard all season from the beginning of it, let's give them till the World Cup for them to gel. Let's see how they look after that. After the World Cup, it's like, crap, we got too many injuries. Let's wait for the key players to come back in. Let's see where we are after that. Now it is crunch time. There's 11 games, 11 World Cup finals for Nottingham Forest to contend in a battle that involves 9 other teams. Nothing like this ever has been seen before. But that cannot be kicked down the road any further because these next 3 matches are so big. We started with Wolves at home. Then we got Leeds midweek. Then we got Aston Villa. Both those second 2 are away. Then following that, we're going to have Rochester United, Liverpool away, Brighton at home, and Brentford as the next 4. This is why these next 3 are so key and so crucial that points are taken from it. I almost feel Forest needs 6 points, 5 to 6 points minimum out of these 3 games. Honestly, let me paint you this scenario. If Forest go back to back, Wolves and Leeds, take 6 points, put us up to 32. Then seriously, roll out the red carpet, roll out the party invites, roll out everything. We can limp our way to the Premier League next season if we were to do that. But any team could currently go and do that from the bottom 9. That's why Forest have to be first out the blocks. Look, I watch a lot of golf. I remember once there was a Masters a few years ago. I'm going back maybe 10 years here, where on the final day, you're looking at the back 9 coming into, the Sunday, and there was about 10 people in contention for a win. At some point, the herd thinned, and then suddenly there was only 2 to 3 bidding for the win. The rest folded and felted away. This is what's probably going to happen in this. A lot of people are saying this whole 9-team thing is going to continue till the end of the season. I can't see it. At some point, one of these teams or 2 or maybe even 3 of them are going to go and boom, put the accelerator down, put a run of 2 wins out of 3 or 3 and 5 or 2 with a couple of draws, something like that. And suddenly they're going to break away from the pack. And if they do that, they're guaranteed safety. Most teams down below at the bottom here understand that they need 3 to 4 wins to secure their status for next season. Now, Forest have to be the first to do this. Why? Because our run of fixtures is probably on paper, and yes, I grant you paper is different, but is the second hardest of anyone. I think West Ham have the hardest, then Nottingham Forest. So, target these games. Let's not kick the can down the road, and let's see what we can do, starting with Wolves this weekend. All right, so let's start and have a quick look at Wolves. Now, we're going to have a full match preview, a full live preview stream. We're probably going to do some work with our good friend Dazzling Dave as well. There's all sorts of build-up coming on. Now there's stupid, crappy international breaks out the window. We can get on with the business of the Premier League. Wolves have lost 3 out of their last 4 games. They've won 1 game in 5, and that win came at home to Spurs. I mean, out of all the teams, does it surprise you? Let me run you through what they've done. They lost 2-0 to Liverpool. They then beat Spurs 1-0. They then lost 2-1 to Newcastle, and they lost 4-2 to Leeds with 2 sendings off. Now, one of those red cards has been rescinded, so only Johnny will miss the match for Nottingham Forest. But they are coming in a heavy lull, and they haven't exactly travelled well away from home either. And we all know what the City Ground's been like, well, until the Newcastle match, a fortress. So where does this game go? This could be one of the grittiest games of the season, as we all know what happened in the League Cup quarterfinals, where Nottingham Forest went through on penalties against Wolves. So, can we have the same repeat of that one? The game itself was a 1-1 draw during the 90 minutes. Honestly, Wolves absolutely dominated us, and we did well to get it to penalties. But that's the way the cookie crumbled that night. How will it crumble this Saturday? If we can beat Wolves, and if we can go to Leeds, and look, a lot of people are saying take 4 points out of the next 2 games, and they'll be happy. I'm saying go for 6, man. Go for 6. I can't deal with the stress of this anymore. I want to be on the beach. I want, before we get to the Man United game, to have the cigar lit up and just be relaxed. What would I give? What would I give to have, let's say, 7 points from the next 3? 7 points from the next 3 puts us on 33 points. Oh my God, imagine 9 puts us on 35. You can but dream. You can but dream. Look, realistically, what may happen, what will probably happen, is we beat Wolves and then go LL away from home. End up with 3 points. That puts us on 29 points, and we're still in a big dogfight. This is why I'm saying 2 wins out the next 3 is so huge. Do it back to back, and you break away from the herd, man. You break away from the herd. Look, Leeds aren't that good either. Bell End Road is a fantastic atmosphere. It's a fantastic stadium. But Leeds can't score goals. Apart from against Wolves, where suddenly all the stars aligned, they couldn't score goals. So we got to target that match. Maybe Nonto's going to be injured as well. Problem is, Rodrigo may be back. I would love to see Bumford back up front for them, but it looks like it'll be Rodrigo. And then roll on Aston Villa, who are on, I think, 38 points. They are on the beach, man. They've got nothing to play for. They can't really get European spots, and they ain't getting relegated. We may be hitting them at the right time, and we need to make sure that they're lethargic enough and that we attack them hard enough. But my issue is going to be Steve Cooper's tactics. As always, I'm going to talk to you guys straight. I think Steve Cooper knows how big these next 10 days are. And he may be looking at it thinking, let's not lose any of the 3 games and let's see if we can nick a win in one of them. A bit like what he tried against West Ham. That didn't work. A bit like what he tried against Everton. That didn't work. But then against Newcastle, he decided to spice it up and put what looked like an aggressive team out, even though we still played quite defensive. So I think this whole week, or 10 days, is really going to depend on what's in Steve Cooper's mind. Steve Cooper needs to release that handbrake. Look, a lot of people are saying don't release it at home and release it away. I get that. I understand that. It actually makes sense. If you got us down to lose anyway away from home, then we may as well go down swinging and hit some out and see what happens. But I still feel with the atmosphere of the City Ground that we can go out swinging at the City Ground as well and win a game comfortably. Wolves can't score. There is no need to go defensive against a team who's scored, I'm pretty sure, less goals than we have across the season, which is absolutely outstanding. So if Steve Cooper was to pick one game this season where he grows a pair and takes the handbrake off at the City Ground, it really should be against Wolves, because they will create chances, but they just can't get the ball into the goal. That's their problem. And if you're not going to do it against Wolves, then who the hell are you going to do it against? I'm going to tell you right now, if Scarpa's not named in this team, then I am literally going to lose my shit, because I don't know how much more we have to beg, plead, and just do what we can to big him up and get him in the team. There's a good chance that Jono won't play against Wolves because Cooper overreached with him and played him in against Newcastle. And obviously, as we all know, he didn't go on to the international break. Maybe that was to get him to full fitness for this Wolves game. We don't know. We will have to find out. But we need some creativity in that midfield. Playing a bunch of workhorses in there is all well and good if you're playing a big four, like when he did against Man City. Look, the thing with Cooper's tactics is they work better against the bigger teams in up to a certain extent. If he does it right, like he did against Man City, where he blocks out the middle and forces them wide, you can get throughs from your labour. But against teams in and around us, he seems to struggle to find the balance between attacking football and defensive football, and ends up going into his comfort zone, which is to go more defensive. But we need ball players on that pitch. Shelvey's not working. Shelvey's going for those Hollywood balls and literally bypassing our creative players in Morgan Gibbs-White, etc. I would drop Shelvey. Freuler is just the ghost. Don't know what he does. I saw a meme earlier. Instead of finding Nemo, it was saying finding Remo. And I think that's quite fitting in terms of what I see from him. I personally would go for some youth, for some aggression, and for some real heart. If Yates is fit, I'd go Yates and Danilo as the two. And in front of them, I want to see, look, if Jono's not fit, I'll put Scarpini on the right, MGW in the middle, and then Dennis on the left. And Awoni looks like he's getting close. I'd slap him up front, or whoever. Look, I use injured. It may be, and Wood is injured. It may be down to force that we have to put Surridge up front. That could work. Who knows? But that's what I would do. Look, we'll go into the full team as we get closer to the game, once we've spoken to Dave, etc., see what Wolves plan to do, from their point of view. But the key thing to remember in all of this is our back four is now solid. It is. Yes, there's a little rust with Niakate, but this back four is the back four that we've all been asking for and all been dreaming for the last 6 months. And now it has come to fruition. With Bolly still to come back, with McKenna not too far off as well, would even have backup that wouldn't be Joe Worrell, which is fantastic. So position for places will make that back four even stronger. But I think this Wolves game could be the defining moment for this back four, where we see them step up, literally see them step up, where we see a higher line played because Niakate has the pace, because both Niakate and Felipe are ball-playing centre-backs as well, which is something we've been hugely missing all season, where they are centre-backs that look to play the ball forward rather than back to the goalkeeper. And again, that's something we've been missing massively. So with those four there, you could then play a higher line. You can then put pressure onto the Wolves' defence. You can put more sustained attacks into their half. And that's what could win us this game. Even if we lost this game going like that, I'd accept it. I would accept it. You'd see progress. You'd see a team that's trying to attack and trying to win. Because if you don't try to attack, if you don't try to score, you are not going to win the game. And right now, 1 point isn't going to be enough with the fixture list we got coming up. After these 3 games, we've really got to put a run together. I need to know from you guys down below, how many points do you see in the next 9 coming Forest way? Do you see 0? Do you see 1, 3, 6, 9, whatever it may be? Let me know down in the comments below. But the build-up starts now. This is going to be a really busy week. We got so many live streams planned for you. We got so many videos coming out. Make sure that you're tuned in. Make sure you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.